Hi, this is Ernie. I'm that guy who had 6,000 in his checking account to now having millions of dollars. Today I want to talk about IPO because one of the most anticipated company is going public, and those who have Robinhood, you probably got a notification that you will now be able to submit interest. So interest is like, I want to participate. That's pretty much it. And before you get there, what is IPO? IPO is when a private company, like SpaceX is a private company, you cannot buy their shares. Technically you could, but it's a little more complicated. But now it's available for anybody, people like you and me, to start having access to it. But as you might have seen, Figma was priced at 33. It opened at, I don't know, 90 something. You might potentially see something like that. Circle did incredibly well, so I think bullish might also do very, very well. But before we do that, because some will skyrocket and then it will tank below and you might be losing a lot of money. So let's look at the data and decide for ourselves whether it's worth investing. So how do you do that? Let me show you step by step. So first of all, Bullish is a Bitcoin exchange company or a crypto exchange company that's founded by Peter Thiel or backed by Peter Thiel. And for those who are not familiar with the name, he also founded and is a chairman of Palantir that's doing extremely well. Again, Palantir after the IPO did not perform well, but it eventually took off. So whether you're willing to wait until it comes back or you want to look at the financials and make sure that this will turn into Figma or Circle, that's totally up to you. But let's keep going. So in order for me to find out how good this company is, sometimes it's a little challenging to look for this information. So what I'm going to do on Robinhood, SoFi is slightly easier. But what you have to do is go to your Google, and then type in bullish IPO S1. S1 is the typical filing that you need to fill out if you want to be a publicly traded company. So as you can see, Peter Thiel backed crypto exchange has filed for IPO. They're going to offer a certain amount. This is the second attempt. Previous attempt was 2001 through SPAC merger with Far Peak, but due to regulatory hurdles, I think it didn't go through. So this is the second attempt that they're trying to do. So let's see how well the company is performing and whether it's worth our time and our money. So I'm going to go to SEC government file and click on this. And now all the information that's available for investors is here. Time of the company, who's underwriting. So again, JP Morgan, if you want to have access to this IPO of a decent amount of shares, not just one, right? But thousands, tens of, or even more than that, you need to have $10 million. And most of us don't have $10 million, right? So this is why Robinhood and SoFi became such a useful tool that even if you only get one share or 15 shares, you're still not required to have $10 million. So anyway, let's go to where do I typically focus is some key highlights of the data and this financial data. But before we get there, let's look at some of their key data. So if you scroll down, they're going to have all this info. Spot volume, $647 billion. So there is a lot of trading going on this. And it's a leading trading platform. There are tools. I actually had a chance to check it out. It looks really great. Daily volume on average is $2.6 billion. And going back, let's look at their numbers. So I had a chance to look at this earlier, and I am a little puzzled by this. And this is what I saw with Circle as well. They recently just took off, right? If you look at the revenue, right, digital sales, they went from $72 billion, right? This is all thousands, so that's $72 billion to, let me try to make it bigger. Right, $72 billion. They almost doubled, right? So then went from 42 additional, so more than like 60% or more than 50% revenue growth to 160 billion. Then now from that, they actually more than doubled to 250 billion. But as you can see, from 2024 to 2025, it actually went down. So it's really puzzling to me why the digital asset sales did not grow. Yeah, and then we look at the profit as well. So there is net income or loss. So they lost $4 billion, probably spent a lot of money developing tools and etc. Then they had a profit of 1.3 billion. And then they had a profit of 79 million from 1.3 billion. It just nosedived. But compared to that, to here, now you're going to see a loss, first 3 months, loss of $348 million of loss. I mean, if you look at this, you're going to see that change in fair value of digital asset held. So it looks like they are holding maybe some crypto coins like Bitcoin, Ether, and a bunch of others where the value went down. So they wrote that off as a loss. But it kind of makes me wonder, but even then, from compared to this, this means operating loss of about $100 million, which you did not have in last year or in 2023. So this is precisely the reason why I am a little skeptical of whether I want to invest or not. So let's go back to Circles. This one is from Circle Internet. And this is what I saw from 2022 to 2023, their revenue doubled. From that, their revenue just went up slightly. So this was a bit of a concern for me. But as you probably know, this company did extremely well. So they must be doing something well, or market is seeing something that is not seen from typical S1 filing. And given that crypto exchange and stable coin is becoming, the household and recommended investment holding, there might be an opportunity for bullish to do well despite not having a desirable summary consolidated financial data. And I'm going to talk to the JP Morgan people to find out exactly what it is, but given that most likely I'm going to get very few shares from Robinhood, I'm just going to submit. And let me show you how it's done. On the upper right hand corner, you see I'm interested. So you click, and then you got to sign a bunch of forms, or you got to fill it out and say agree. And then you tell them how many shares you want. In this particular account, this was a baby small account that I did it to do Uncle Bert's challenge. So I don't have a lot of money in here, but I'm going to go to SoFi and JP Morgan and see how much shares I can possibly get. Hopefully this video gives you a sense of what IPO is, what information you want to look for, and whether you want to submit an interest to potentially get shares allocated to your account. I know you probably have a lot of questions, so please feel free to reach out and comment if you have any specific questions. And please like, repost, and follow for more information about investing. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.